Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Beatles vinyl update. Now I'm really excited to do this video because I have got quite a few very rare pieces to show, so I'm really looking forward to going through them. So I'll make a quick start. So the first piece I have to show is a copy of Please Please Me, and it is a version of the gold label, which I didn't have before, and it's quite an unusual version, but I'll show you the cover first before we get to that. So it comes with the original gold cover, and this has the photo credit underneath the S in songs rather than the G, and it is of course made by Ernest J. Day & Co., which did the early covers. So anyway, back to the vinyl. So this is the version of the gold label I have to show today. There it is. Now what makes this one special is that on both sides, so both labels, it has a groove going all the way around it. And you should be able to see that. It's got a groove going all the way around the label on side 1, and also on side 2 you can see as well. Now you don't see many copies with the groove, and I believe the groove is there because it was printed on an old printing machine in the EMI factory. And I have seen copies with the groove either on side 1 or on side 2, but this is actually the first copy I've seen with the groove on both sides. So I was very pleased to get this for a good price. Actually, I didn't pay too much for this, and it's also got a really interesting old tax code. It's got WOZT, so that's another great feature. And this has the Dick James credits on both sides, so it hasn't got any Northern Songs credits, it's got all the Dick James credits. And I'm just very pleased to get this, because gold labels can be difficult to find at the best of times, and I've never seen one like this. Okay, so moving on, I've got another very rare item to show. Now this is an export copy of something new, the American album. Now if you saw my last Beatles vinyl update, which I posted I think a little over a month ago now, I showed a copy of Beatles 6 on the yellow and black Parlophone label, and that was an export copy of that album, and this is from that same series. So as you can see, it has the Parlophone logo on it, and it's got the whole stereo bar across the top, which the US editions didn't have. I'll take it out of its sleeve here. And on the back you can see it has the flip backs, which again weren't on the conventional US issue. This has somebody's name on, unfortunately, but that's not a big drawback. And the catalogue number, rather than being PCS, it's CPCS. And of course the cover was made by Gowden Lofthouse Limited. There it is. Now, unlike the copy of Beatles 6, which I showed in my previous update, this isn't an original copy of the export for this album. This is a later pressing of the export, and it's on the one box label. And interestingly, this copy carries an error on the track listing, and that is, When I Get Home and Slow Down are both listed as being track 4. So as you can see, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 again, and then 6. So that's a mistake. I have seen one other copy like this, but it's nice to get a copy with a mistake on as well. And here's side 2, which doesn't have any errors on it. So I was very pleased to find that one as well. Next up is a copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in stereo. Now this, I'll be honest, isn't anything rare or significant, but I'll show you it anyway. It's actually just a 2-box variation that I didn't have for this album, and it's a direct metal master. Advertises it for the 3 different formats next to the barcode. And here is the label. This is side 2. It's on the 2-box Parlophone label, with the all rights of the producer text. It's got a bit of a sticker on the label there, unfortunately, but that's nothing major. And here is just a stereo remaster of this album from a few years back. I didn't actually have one for this album, so I just picked that up to add to the collection. Okay, so I've got some white albums to show, and don't worry, it's not just white albums for the remainder of the video. However, some of these white albums have some really rare qualities about them, so I'll get into those. Now this first white album isn't anything rare. I'll show you it though. So this is a mono copy, number 113,227, and it's in pretty good condition actually. The cover's quite nice. Here's the first record with an EMI recording on, so it's a slightly later label. There's side 2. The vinyl's not in the greatest condition, but it's okay. And here's sides 3 and 4, again with an EMI recording on them. Okay, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. However, the next thing I have to show, I am really pleased about. Now, I'm going to need to show you 2 white albums for this. Now, the really interesting thing here is that I've actually managed to get 2 white albums which follow each other straight on. So here's like a pair of consecutive numbers. Got number 117,194 and 117,195. And I couldn't believe it when I found a white album which came right next to another one in my collection, so I was really pleased to be able to get this pair. This one I'd had for quite a while, but this one I only got a few days back, and like I say, I couldn't actually believe it at first, because it's just not something I see very often. Now there is actually something else interesting about one of those white albums, and it's the one that I got just a few days back, 117,195. Now, I was aware when I bought it that the records weren't original, they'd just been matched with an original cover, and that the records were from like the late 70s or the 80s. And because it was a consecutive white album sleeve, I just went ahead and bought it anyway, because I mean, chances like that don't come around too often, so I thought I might as well take the chance. However, getting the records home, I noticed on the side 3 label that it actually carries the spelling mistake that you can get for this pressing, which I didn't even realise that this copy had, so that was a bonus when I found out that it had this when I got it home. Anyway, if you look there, Northern Songs is spelled Northern Songs, so as you can see there's an I there when there shouldn't be. Northern Songs is the spelling error, so that's just sweetened the deal really. So I was very pleased to get that. I will have to find a cover for this though, because obviously it doesn't belong in an original white album cover, it belongs in a late 70s or an 80s cover, so I'll have to try and get one for that. Alright, so the next album I have to show, it is another copy of the white album, and it's a mono copy, and it's number 160,291. And to be honest, the best part about this is, despite the cover not being in very good condition, the LPs are in beautiful condition, and they are also early labels without EMI recording on, so it doesn't have an EMI recording above the 33 1/3 there. There's side 2. And here's side 3 without an EMI recording. However, side 4 does have an EMI recording. So the next white album I have is, again, I believe this is a mono copy, yep, and it's number 209,535, and this is in very nice condition. However, the thing that makes this white album special is that not only does it come with the original poster and also the original photographs, but it also comes with the original spacer. And this is the first copy I have with this spacer. Now, I have read recently that apparently when the people were loading the photographs into the white album covers, between each set of the photos there would be just one of these spaces just to separate them, so that they're kind of in groups of 4, obviously 4 for each album. And some people, like sometimes the people who were responsible for putting the photographs into the album on the production line wouldn't bother to take the spacer out and then put the 4 photographs in. They would just pick them up as a pile and slot them in, and that's why some copies can have the spacer in. And I was really surprised when I actually noticed there was one in, because of all the white albums I see, it's very rare to find one of these, so I was very pleased with that. And I actually managed to get this along with the gold label that I showed in this video at the same time, so I got a good deal on those two. And my last white album for this video, again, isn't really anything rare, it's just another copy. And this is a stereo copy, and it's not in the best condition, but it's original anyway. And the number on the sleeve is number 404,746. And here's the stereo labels with an EMI recording on them for sides 1 and 2. And here's sides 3 and 4 as well. And this copy actually comes with just 2 of the photographs. It's missing Paul and John's photograph for some reason. However, it does come with Ringo and George's. So 2 is better than nothing, I suppose. Now the final piece I have to show for this video is a copy of Hey Jude, or the Beatles again. And this is an export copy of Hey Jude, so I'll show you that. This is also pretty rare. So it's got a laminated cover, it's not a cardboard cover like the USA copies. And if you look on the back, like the Something New, it's got the CPCS catalogue number, so it's from the same export series. And down here you'll notice it's printed and made by Goward and Lofthouse. And this is on a UK Apple label. And interestingly, on Hey Jude, it's actually got an exclamation mark after the title. That's interesting. But what makes this particular pressing of the export rare is that on side 1 it carries not 1 but 2 errors. The first of them is on track 3. Paperback writer is spelt as 3 words rather than 2. As you can see, paper and back have a gap between them, so it's paper back writer, and paperback obviously is 1 word, not 2, so that's a mistake. And also on track 6, revolution is actually spelled on the label here revolutions with an S. So paper back writer and revolutions are 2 errors on this label. And you can get another version where it's only got 1 of those errors, but I haven't got that one. And here is side 2, which is completely free of errors. Okay, so that concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing these, and thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.